Here's Amir Coffey from a long way.
Guys, I got to tell you, I'm not much of a basketball player here. That half-court shot that Amir made, I could have never made it. However, for about 20 minutes last night, I could have played in the game because all I would have had to do was this.
Here's Amir Coffey from a long way. Got it! Coffey!
Just throw up a prayer and pray to God that it goes in.
It went in all right from almost 70 feet out. Amir Coffey's game winner, a miracle buzzer beater.
It took me a few seconds to actually realize that it went in.
The basket sent Hopkins to the championship game against Lakeville North tomorrow night, but don't ask this sophomore to do that again.
I think that was a once in a lifetime. I don't think I could hit that again if someone paid me to do it.
The #1 play on ESPN last night. Safe to say Mom was more nervous than he was.
And I felt like, oh my goodness, I need those paddles to start my heart again because it was like a heart attack moment.
Hopkins into the state championship game.
But if that was a heart attack moment, it followed 20 minutes of barely a pulse basketball, downright boring.
We might have a riot here from the fans.
And does this generate talk next year of instituting a shot clock in high school?
With no shot clock in the high school league, Hopkins through 4 overtimes mostly just held the ball, opting to let the clock wind down to take a final shot for a win. Boring for fans, yes, but Hopkins' coach defends it, saying he'd do it again.
Within the rules, within the strategy, I think we did what we should do. I mean, why miss it, then let them hold it for 50 seconds or 2 minutes, which they would have done.
Now, you might be surprised to hear that Hopkins' coach is in favor of a shot clock. So are some league officials. So could things be changing maybe for next year? We'll investigate that tonight at 6. Live at Target Center, Brad Sattin, 5 Eyewitness News.
That's outrageous.
There is no question.
This is abominable.
What Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman thinks of Colin Chisholm and his wife, Andrea.
These rich folks ripped off the system.
Court documents say they got more than $160,000 from the state between 2005 and 2012 through various public assistance programs, getting welfare benefits, claiming they were living with Andrea's mother here in South Minneapolis, when really, Freeman says, they were living here on this 83-foot yacht in Florida worth over $1 million, while allegedly collecting welfare money from Florida as well. Eventually losing that yacht, and Freeman says coming back to Minnesota and moving into luxury homes on Lake Minnetonka.
Said over $1 million went to the bank accounts. He created all sorts of false companies. He claimed he was a Scottish heir. Lord and Lady Chisholm III are fraudsters of the first degree.
They are both still on the loose, at one point claiming to live in Connecticut, but it turned out.
And the address was a UPS store.
Well, authorities here are now working with Florida investigators trying to locate the couple. The thought is they may have left the country. If convicted, they could face, would you believe, probation? But Freeman says he will seek serious jail time. In the newsroom, Brad Sattin, 5 Eyewitness News. Leah, this is a closed-door meeting, which is why we are outside here in the cold. The leadership made up of about 70 teachers from the school district. They showed up here about an hour and a half ago. Basically, they will vote on whether to conduct another vote to possibly go on strike. The teachers started arriving around 4:30 this afternoon. These leaders in this room will vote on whether to put the question of authorizing a strike to the 2,800 teachers part of the school district. Most haven't seen a pay raise in several years. But according to the union, this isn't so much about base pay. They seem to be on the same page with the district, looking at a pay increase of around 2% for each of 2 years. The union says the big sticking points are over changes in their health insurance plan and concern for young teachers. The union says the district wants to slow the progress or steps for higher pay for younger teachers. In essence, it'll take younger teachers longer to make more money.
Now that school funding has turned the corner, and given our very large fund balances, I believe we have a time where we can actually have our compensation also turn a corner. We're not asking to make up for lost time. We're just looking for basically an average settlement.
But a school district official tells us the legislature did not provide adequate funding to meet the union's proposal. We are committed to reaching a settlement, but remaining fiscally responsible. Now, this process still has to play out. There's a long way to go before a strike would actually happen. If indeed it did, we're probably looking at mid to late April at the earliest. Anoka Hennepin is not unique in this situation. We did some checking. There are 83 school districts around the state currently negotiating new contracts with their teachers, but Anoka Hennepin could be the first with a strike authorization vote pending if indeed it goes that way. That is the vote that's happening right now. Of course, we will bring you the latest coming up tonight at 10. Live in Coon Rapids, Brad Sattin, 5 Eyewitness News.
Today is production day.
On this street corner in Marine on St. Croix,
We have quite a few flavors now.
inside the general store,
This is my 3rd year.
and down the steps to the basement,
We have learned to go really fast.
you'll find the space that Sarah Hayden rents to make pie.
These are Finnegan's salted caramel apple hand pies.
She and her assistant Caitlin make hundreds a week.
This is called forking.
But filling these pies is fulfilling a promise for Sarah to give back.
Pies with a purpose.
You see, her daughter Maddie was born with Down syndrome 11 years ago, as are about 100 children each year in Minnesota. You may know the genetic disorder can affect physical, mental, and behavioral development, but here's what Sarah knows.
I have 5 kids, and sometimes she can be the easiest out of all of them.
Irish apple, maple bacon.
Maddie is who she is.
Bunny.
A little girl who, for starters,
I like the crust.
you like the crust? Sure loves her mom's baking. Is one pie enough?
No, 1,000.
1,000 pies? You think you could eat 1,000?
Yeah.
Well, Mom's already sold 10,000 of them. And starting now, she'll donate to the Down Syndrome Association of Minnesota a portion of the proceeds of some of her pies, the ones she calls tipsy. There are a couple Finnegan's beers used to make these pies, but if you're looking to get a buzz, it's not going to happen. The alcohol has evaporated out. While the flavor absorbed in, there are non-beer pies as well, a charitable treat that for Sarah's daughters leaves a good taste in their mouths. Does that make you proud of her?
Yeah.
Yeah. In Marine on St. Croix, Brad Sattin, 5 Eyewitness News. There sure is a lot of slicing, pouring, stirring, flipping, tasting, and yup, judging going on.
All in all, that dessert's stellar.
At the Pro Start Invitational, 10 groups of high school students hoping to measure up to become the top cooking team in the state. And talk about a pressure cooker.
It's very nerve-wracking, I can tell you.
Each team has 60 minutes starting from scratch and using their own ingredients.
2 minutes, team. 2 minutes.
To come up with a salad or appetizer.
I've always thought appetizers should be seafood.
An entree.
1 minute.
And dessert. Spending the entire school year practicing for this 1 hour.
3, 2, 1, time.
Hands up.
Inspired, many are quick to admit, by what they see on TV.
Hell's Kitchen.
What is that?
Nobody's going to do that here to these guys.
Thanks to those food shows, the 18 judges are surprised what kids actually know.
I have young 16, 17-year-olds coming up to me going, you know, I'd like to use truffles.
Some things work.
3 of the desserts that I've seen so far I would put on my menu.
Others not so much.
That's my fault, take responsibility. And
But what happens on these butane burners is just part of what it takes to be a chef. They're also judged on their non-cooking skills, like how's the menu look and how much for that dessert?
A $15 dessert? That seems kind of high.
Still, this Elk River team took the title and celebrated in style with a sandwich and Doritos. In Mounds View, Brad Sattin, 5 Eyewitness News.